If you're over 60 and tired of feeling puffy after meals, hungrier an hour after you've eaten, or frustrated that your belly seems to grow even when you watch the sugar, this might surprise you. The biggest driver isn't table sugar at all. It's a stealth ingredient that behaves like rocket fuel for blood sugar, yet it hides on labels under names that sound harmless or even healthy. Most of us were told to fear sugar cubes in dessert. Meanwhile, a different carbohydrate quietly slipped into breads, crackers, cereals, gluten-free snacks, healthy granola bars, sports drinks, and even deli meats and yogurts. It's not naturally starchy whole foods like potatoes or oats. I'm talking about industrial refined starches, things like maltodextrin, modified food starch, cornstarch, potato starch, and tapioca starch used as cheap fillers and texture enhancers. They're not listed as sugar, but the body can break many of them down faster than glucose. That means sharper blood sugar spikes, bigger insulin surges, and a stronger signal to store fat, especially the deep visceral fat around the liver and belly that raises the risk of diabetes, heart disease, and memory decline. Let's be clear about what we're not saying. We're not demonizing real, minimally processed whole foods that naturally contain starch, like a baked potato with the skin, steel-cut oats, or a bowl of beans. Your grandparents' foods came bundled with fiber, minerals, and structure that slow digestion and keep you full. What we are calling out are lab-modified starches that food companies add to make products cheaper, thicker, crispier, or low sugar on paper. These refined starches can outpace your body's ability to handle them, especially after 60, when muscles are smaller and insulin sensitivity naturally drops. Here's the part many seniors never hear from standard diet advice. Zero sugar doesn't mean gentle on blood sugar. The nutrition label may list 0 g of sugar, but the ingredient list could include maltodextrin or modified starch that behaves like ultra-fast carbs once digested. Clinical dietitians often explain it this way. Imagine taking a necklace made of sugar beads and snipping the string. That's refined starch. Your enzymes don't have to work hard to turn it into individual sugars. Result: a rapid rise in blood glucose, a big insulin response, and then a crash that drives cravings, afternoon sleepiness, and late-night snacking. Why does this matter more after 60? 3 reasons. Metabolism and muscle. We lose muscle with age unless we actively protect it. Muscle is the main sink that soaks up glucose. Less muscle mark higher post-meal spikes. Hormones and satiety. Insulin, cortisol, and hunger hormones can swing wider with age. Fast carbs stress this system, making it harder to maintain steady energy. The microbiome. Repeated hits of refined starch paired with seed oils, think chips, crackers, and fried foods, can irritate the gut lining, feed the bad bugs, and amplify inflammation, exactly what many seniors already feel in their joints and digestion. Now, here's the good news. You don't need a perfect diet to feel better quickly. Small label reading habits and a few smart swaps can tame those spikes within days. In this series, we'll keep 60% of the core warning you heard elsewhere. Refined industrial starches are more harmful than most people realize, while adding 40% of practical science-grounded steps clinicians actually use with older adults in the U.S. In this video, we'll cover Part 2, the name game on labels, how to spot the top 12 hidden starch aliases, maltodextrin, food starch, dextrins, resistant starch claims, and more, plus a 2-step aisle strategy that takes 30 seconds. Part 3. What these carbs do inside your body after 60, blood sugar, insulin, visceral fat, and your gut barrier, explained with simple visuals and tips from major U.S. medical centers. Think Harvard, Mayo Clinic, NIH. Part 4. The Swap Don't Stop Pantry Makeover, easy replacements for breads, crackers, cereals, soups, and sauces that keep taste and texture but dramatically reduce glucose spikes. Part 5. A 7-day steady energy plate for seniors, how to pair protein, fiber, and healthy fats to flatten blood sugar curves without calorie counting. Part 6. The Blue Zone Advantage, Mediterranean and Okinawan-style tricks, cooling cooked starches, beans done right, sourdough timing that make carbs gentler. Part 7. Final, A quick recap, a 5-item shopping checklist, and a 10-minute weekly routine that protects your heart, brain, and waistline. My promise to you is simple. By the end, you'll know exactly which words on a label tell you, "This will spike me," how to replace them with senior-friendly foods that keep you full and steady, and how to build meals that calm inflammation instead of feeding it. Most people over 60 never realize how quickly these invisible carbs push blood sugar around because they don't taste sweet. But once you know where they hide and how your body responds, you can make confident choices without giving up flavor or comfort. Think of this as moving from blood sugar roller coaster to scenic train ride. Same destination, a satisfying meal, far less whiplash. Take a breath. You don't have to overhaul everything tonight. Start with awareness. Grab one box or jar in your kitchen and look for the first 3 ingredients. If you see maltodextrin or modified starch near the top, you've likely found a culprit. In the next part, I'll show you how to decode labels fast, choose better versions in the same aisle, and keep your favorite meals, just upgraded for a steadier, stronger you. Ready? Let's make your next grocery trip work for your heart, brain, and energy. One small swap at a time. If you've ever picked up a box of sugar-free, low-fat, or gluten-free snacks thinking you were doing your body a favor, you're not alone. But here's the truth. Very few food companies want seniors to know. Many of these healthy foods hide a carb that acts even faster than sugar. You might look at the label and feel reassured, 0 grams sugar, fat-free, or keto-friendly, but the ingredient list tells a different story. Words like maltodextrin, cornstarch, modified food starch, tapioca starch, or rice flour are all forms of industrial starch refined to the point that your body digests them faster than table sugar. That means your blood sugar can skyrocket, even though the label looks clean. Let's take a closer look. When you see total carbohydrates 16g, fiber 1g, sugar 0g, you might think that's safe, but the missing 15 grams are starch. And when that starch is ultra-refined, it turns to glucose almost instantly. The Cleveland Clinic explains it simply. Refined starches raise blood sugar nearly as rapidly as pure glucose because they're stripped of fiber and structure that slow digestion. That's why after eating healthy granola, low-fat crackers, or even some protein shakes, you may feel a burst of energy, followed by fatigue, cravings, or brain fog an hour later. It's not in your head, it's your blood sugar crashing after an artificial spike. Even more alarming? These starches are in foods you'd never expect. Baby formula and children's snacks, gluten-free breads and tortillas, yogurts and healthy smoothies, processed meats like hot dogs or deli turkey used as filler, salad dressings and soups, protein powders marketed to older adults. Why manufacturers love it and why your body doesn't, industrial starches are dirt cheap. A 25-pound bag costs under $5, subsidized by taxpayers through corn and grain programs. They add bulk, thicken sauces, and improve texture, so manufacturers use them everywhere. But here's the catch. They have no nutritional value, no fiber, and no vitamins. They're pure glucose chains that your body breaks down immediately. Even worse, they're often chemically treated to improve shelf life or texture. Common additives include sodium triphosphate, linked to kidney stress and artery calcification, per NIH studies. Vinyl acetate, classified by the EPA as a possible human carcinogen. Sodium hypochlorite, that's bleach, the same chemical used to sanitize water, unregulated in food starch. You'd never sprinkle bleach or phosphate on your dinner plate, yet trace amounts can come in through these modified fillers. It's not fear-mongering, it's reality. The problem isn't small doses, it's the daily repetition: breakfast cereal, snack bar, sandwich, dessert. As Dr. Dariush Mozaffarian of Tufts University puts it, the danger of ultra-processed carbs isn't in one meal, it's in their dominance of the modern diet. They've displaced real food with glucose dust. After 60, your pancreas and liver simply can't buffer those rapid surges as efficiently as they once did. The result? Higher insulin levels for longer periods, more fat stored in the liver and belly, greater blood vessel stress leading to inflammation and stiff arteries. Gut imbalance, since those starches feed bad microbes and suppress beneficial bacteria. You may notice it subtly. Afternoon fatigue after sandwiches or cereal. A growing waistline even on smaller meals. More joint stiffness and inflammation. Trouble focusing or remembering words after eating. These aren't just aging. They're the ripple effects of chronic insulin spikes and inflammation driven largely by these refined fillers. The Harvard School of Public Health confirmed that replacing refined starches with whole food carbs, like legumes and root vegetables, can reduce diabetes risk by up to 40%, even without weight loss. So when you cut out modified starches, you're not giving up carbs. You're choosing smarter carbs that stabilize your body instead of stressing it. Next time you're in the grocery aisle, flip the package and look for these red flags in the first 5 ingredients. Maltodextrin, modified food starch, cornstarch, rice starch, potato starch, dextrins or tapioca starch, resistant starch, often just a marketing disguise. If you see any of those near the top of the list, put it back or look for a version that uses real ingredients like oats, almond flour, or chickpea flour instead. A simple rule of thumb: if it sounds like a chemistry experiment instead of food, your grandmother would recognize it's likely feeding your blood sugar, not your body. In the next section, we'll dive deeper into what happens inside your body when you eat these industrial starches, how they create belly fat, fatigue, and even brain fog, and what modern research says about reversing those effects naturally. Most people think of sugar as the main villain behind diabetes, weight gain, and fatigue. But the truth is, the silent starches hiding in everyday foods can wreak even more havoc on your metabolism. Here's what's really happening inside your body when you eat something like a low-sugar granola bar, gluten-free bread, or a bowl of instant mashed potatoes that's loaded with modified starch or maltodextrin. Step 1. A blood sugar spike that hits harder than table sugar. As soon as these refined starches hit your tongue, enzymes in your saliva called amylase start breaking them down into glucose. Unlike whole grains or vegetables, these starches don't have fiber or structure to slow them down. By the time they reach your stomach and small intestine, they're already half-digested glucose, ready to pour into your bloodstream. The glycemic index, a scale measuring how fast a food raises blood sugar, rates table sugar at 65. Maltodextrin, anywhere from 90 to 110. That means it spikes blood sugar faster than pure sugar, according to the National Institutes of Health, NIH. This rapid rise pushes your pancreas to flood your bloodstream with insulin, the hormone that lowers blood sugar by storing it as fat. But here's the problem. After 60, your body's insulin sensitivity declines naturally, so it takes even more insulin to manage that same spike. Over time, that constant insulin overload leads to insulin resistance, the gateway to type 2 diabetes, belly fat, and fatigue. So even if you're not eating dessert, that healthy, low-fat cracker or protein bar could be doing exactly what you're trying to avoid. Step 2. A crash that hits your energy and your brain. Have you ever noticed that after a sandwich, cereal, or even yogurt, you feel awake for 30 minutes, then suddenly heavy, sleepy, or foggy? That's not just a food coma, it's your blood sugar crashing after a spike. When insulin pushes glucose into your cells too quickly, your blood sugar can drop below normal, triggering hunger, irritability, and fatigue. Your brain depends on steady glucose to think clearly, so when it drops, your mental focus and memory dip too. A 2024 study from Johns Hopkins University found that older adults who experienced frequent post-meal glucose spikes and crashes performed 22% worse on short-term memory tests compared to those with steady levels. That's why many seniors describe feeling fuzzy or drained after meals. It's not age, it's instability. Step 3. Inflammation and visceral fat buildup. Here's where it gets serious. Each blood sugar spike triggers oxidative stress, a fancy term for microscopic inflammation in your blood vessels. Over time, that inflammation damages the lining of your arteries, stiffens them, and makes it easier for cholesterol and calcium to stick. This is how arterial plaque forms, not just from eating fat, but from repeated sugar and starch spikes. In fact, Research from the Cleveland Clinic shows that diets high in refined starches increase levels of C-reactive protein, a key inflammation marker, by 30–40%, the same range seen in smokers. The body also starts storing more fat around your organs called visceral fat. Unlike belly fat under the skin, visceral fat is hormonally active. It releases inflammatory chemicals called cytokines that worsen blood pressure, joint pain, and even memory decline. If you've noticed that your waistline feels harder or fuller, even when your weight hasn't changed much, that's often visceral fat building around the liver and intestines, and refined starches are a big reason why. Step 4. Gut disruption and silent inflammation. Now, let's talk about your gut. Healthy digestion depends on a diverse community of bacteria that feed on fiber and natural plant compounds. But industrial starches stripped of all their fiber do the opposite. They feed the bad bacteria that thrive on simple sugars. This imbalance can weaken your intestinal wall, allowing tiny food particles to leak into your bloodstream. The result: chronic bloating, fatigue, joint stiffness, skin issues, brain fog. Scientists call this leaky gut syndrome, and it's becoming increasingly common in adults over 60. The Mayo Clinic now recognizes that restoring gut balance through fermented foods, probiotics, and fiber can reduce inflammation markers throughout the entire body, not just in digestion. The good news: your body can recover fast. The moment you remove refined starches, your blood sugar starts to stabilize, often within a week. Your pancreas produces less insulin, your liver begins to clear fat, and your gut bacteria shift back toward balance. Dr. David Ludwig from Harvard Medical School found that patients who replaced refined starches with healthy fats and fiber-rich foods burned 325 more calories per day, even without changing their activity level. So no, it's not about cutting carbs altogether. It's about choosing carbs that work with you, not against you. Think of your body like a campfire. Refined starch is kindling quick burn, short energy, lots of smoke. Whole foods are logs, slow burn, steady warmth, clean flame. Which fire do you want fueling your body? In the next section, we'll break down simple food swaps, everyday examples of how to replace the hidden industrial starches in your pantry with real, satisfying foods that stabilize your blood sugar, protect your brain, and even help you lose belly fat naturally. If you've been thinking, does this mean I can never eat bread, cereal, or pasta again? Take a breath. The goal isn't to live in fear of food. It's to make smart swaps that keep your meals satisfying without feeding inflammation or blood sugar swings. Because here's the truth: you can still enjoy creamy soups, crispy snacks, and comfort foods if you know how to trade industrial starches for natural alternatives that your body handles more gracefully, especially after 60. Let's walk through the Swap Don't Stop plan that many nutritionists use with older adults to reset metabolism in just a few weeks. 1. Swap processed bread for real grain or sourdough. If your loaf lists modified wheat starch or maltodextrin, that's a red flag. These refined starches give bread a soft texture and long shelf life, but they break down into sugar almost instantly. Instead, look for whole grain sourdough. Fermented up to 24 hours lowers the glycemic index by up to 40%. Ezekiel bread or sprouted grain bread, which contains real seeds and grains, not industrial fillers, or go grain-free a few times per week. Try almond flour wraps or lettuce cups. According to a 2023 Harvard School of Public Health study, replacing refined white bread with sourdough or sprouted bread improved blood sugar control and lowered inflammation markers within 2 weeks in older adults. Pro tip: freeze slices and toast them when needed. Freezing and toasting changes the starch structure into a form called resistant starch, which digests more slowly, and that means steadier energy. 2. Swap instant cereals and crackers for high fiber. Whole food options: instant oatmeal, rice crackers, and low-fat granola often sound healthy but contain maltodextrin, cornstarch, or rice starch as binders. These hit your bloodstream faster than you can pour your coffee. Try this instead: old-fashioned oats, not instant, cooked with chia seeds and a splash of unsweetened almond milk. Homemade granola using rolled oats, flaxseed, and a drizzle of olive oil or coconut oil. Snack swaps, roasted chickpeas, almonds, or pumpkin seeds instead of starch-heavy crackers. The Mayo Clinic reports that increasing dietary fiber from natural foods by just 10 grams per day can reduce blood sugar spikes by up to 25%, and that's as simple as swapping your morning cereal. Bonus: add cinnamon. It helps your cells absorb glucose more efficiently and can reduce fasting blood sugar by around 10%, according to NIH clinical reviews. 3. Swap mashed potato mixes for real roots. Powdered mashed potato packets in restaurant fries are some of the worst offenders. They're mostly industrial starch combined with seed oils, forming toxic compounds called aldehydes when fried or baked. Instead, opt for fresh potatoes with skin, boiled and cooled before eating. Cooling increases resistant starch. Mashed cauliflower or parsnip with a touch of olive oil or grass-fed butter for flavor. Japanese sweet potatoes, roasted with herbs, they digest slower and provide antioxidants. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, 2023, found that replacing industrial starches with cooled, home-cooked potatoes improved insulin sensitivity and reduced hunger hormones for up to 24 hours after meals. Tip for seniors: add a small source of protein or fat like a poached egg or a spoonful of avocado to every carb-based meal. It slows digestion and keeps you full much longer. Swap sugar-free desserts for simple, sweet, real food. This one's big. Most sugar-free puddings, yogurts, and protein bars are loaded with maltodextrin or soluble corn fiber, which sound harmless but have a higher glycemic index than honey. Instead, try these. Mix Greek yogurt, plain, unsweetened, with blueberries, cinnamon, and a few crushed walnuts. Blend a frozen banana with cocoa powder and a splash of milk for instant ice cream. Bake apples with nut butter and a sprinkle of cinnamon. The fiber keeps blood sugar steady. The Cleveland Clinic recommends that older adults aim for real sweetness from fruit paired with fat or protein to prevent rapid spikes. Your brain gets the pleasure signal without the crash. Remember, real food doesn't need a barcode or a marketing claim. If you can imagine growing it or cooking it in your own kitchen, it's probably good for you. 5. Swap energy snacks for stability. Snacks instead of energy bars filled with starch and synthetic fiber. Reach for simple, stabilizing options. A boiled egg with a few nuts, cottage cheese with berries, celery sticks with almond butter. Your body will thank you with clearer focus, fewer cravings, and steady energy all day long. According to the Johns Hopkins Center for Metabolic Health, older adults who switched from refined snack foods to protein and fiber-based snacks reported a 60% reduction in afternoon fatigue and better sleep quality after just 3 weeks. These swaps aren't about perfection, they're about momentum. Each time you replace an industrial starch with a real, slow-burning carb, you lower inflammation, stabilize your energy, and help your pancreas recover. You'll notice it in your morning's first steadier focus, less puffiness, and more consistent energy. In the next part, we'll explore how to build a balanced plate, the senior-friendly, steady energy formula that helps you enjoy carbs, protect your heart, and even reverse belly fat naturally over time. Once you start reducing industrial starches, the next step is learning how to build a balanced plate, one that fuels your body steadily without causing those post-meal crashes, belly fat storage, or inflammation that sneaks up with age. I call this the steady energy formula, and it's incredibly simple. Part healthy carbs, plus 1 part clean protein, plus 1 part smart fats, plus 1 part fiber. This combination helps your body process food at a steady pace, giving you long-lasting energy, stable blood sugar, and protection for your brain and heart. Let's break it down. Healthy carbs. The slow burners. After 60, your body still needs carbohydrates, just the right ones. Your brain alone burns about 130 grams of glucose per day, but that glucose should come from slow-digesting sources that release energy gradually, not all at once. Choose root vegetables, sweet potatoes, carrots, beets, rich in potassium and fiber. Legumes, lentils, chickpeas, black beans, proven to lower LDL cholesterol by 5 to 10%. Low glycemic fruits, berries, apples, pears, packed with antioxidants that protect blood vessels. Whole grains, quinoa, barley, steel-cut oats, naturally high in magnesium, supporting nerve and muscle health. A 2022 Harvard Medical School study found that seniors who ate at least 2 servings of slow-digesting carbs daily had 25% fewer insulin spikes and maintained better cognitive performance over time. Rule of thumb: if it looks like it came from the ground, not a box, it's a good carb. Clean protein, the blood sugar buffer. Protein is your ally. It helps your body slow down the digestion of carbohydrates, reducing post-meal sugar surges and keeping you full longer. Best choices: fish, salmon, sardines, trout, high in omega-3s that calm inflammation. Eggs complete protein with brain-boosting choline. Chicken or turkey breast lean and easy to digest. Plant-based options like tofu, tempeh, or lentils for variety. The Mayo Clinic recommends that older adults aim for 0.6 to 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight per day, slightly higher than the general population to maintain muscle mass, immunity, and stable glucose levels. Tip: pair every carb-heavy meal with a small portion of protein. For example, have a boiled egg with oatmeal or some grilled chicken with rice and vegetables. You'll stay full, calm, and energized for hours. 3. Smart fats, the heart and brain shield. Fats have been unfairly demonized for decades, but your brain is nearly 60% fat, and your cells depend on healthy fats to function. Choose avocados and extra virgin olive oil protect arteries and lower inflammation. Nuts and seeds, almonds, chia, flax, walnuts, rich in magnesium and omega-3s. Grass-fed butter or ghee supports hormone balance and helps absorb fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. Avoid industrial seed oils, soybean, corn, sunflower, high in omega-6 fats that trigger inflammation. Margarine or low-fat spreads. They often contain chemical emulsifiers and trans fat residues. A 2023 Cleveland Clinic trial found that replacing just 2 tablespoons of seed oils with olive oil daily reduced markers of oxidative stress by 35% and improved HDL, good, cholesterol within a month. Tip: add a teaspoon of olive oil or crushed nuts to cooked vegetables. The fat helps your body absorb nutrients up to 4 times better. Maor. Fiber. The glucose gatekeeper. Fiber acts like a traffic controller in your digestive system. It slows sugar absorption, supports healthy gut bacteria, and keeps cholesterol levels balanced. The NIH suggests at least 25-30 grams of fiber daily for adults over 60, but most Americans get barely half of that. Easy ways to increase your fiber intake. Add 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed or chia seeds to your breakfast. Eat 1 apple or handful of berries each day. Include beans or lentils in soups or salads at least 3 times per week. Replace white rice with barley or farro for extra chew and nutrition. Remember, fiber feeds the good bacteria in your gut, which in turn produce short-chain fatty acids that reduce inflammation in your brain and joints. Dr. Andrew Weil, a Harvard-trained integrative medicine expert, says, "A healthy gut is the foundation of longevity. It starts not with pills, but with fiber-rich real food." How to build a steady energy plate. Here's what a simple blood sugar-friendly meal looks like for seniors. Breakfast: steel-cut oats, 1 2-cup cooked, topped with chia seeds, berries, and a boiled egg on the side. Lunch: grilled salmon, quinoa, 1 2-cup, and steamed broccoli drizzled with olive oil. Dinner: lentil soup with chopped spinach, served with half a roasted sweet potato and a few slices of avocado. You'll notice no calorie counting, no starvation, no fancy supplements, just balance, color, and real food. Within a week, many older adults notice more stable energy throughout the day, less afternoon fatigue, clearer thinking, and even better sleep, since stable blood sugar helps regulate your nighttime hormones. In the next and final section, we'll recap everything and talk about how these small shifts can protect your brain, reverse belly fat, and keep your energy high for decades to come. Part 6. Recap, reflection, and a doctor's closing message of hope. Let's take a moment to breathe and bring this full circle. You've just learned that the real danger to your blood sugar, your heart, and even your memory after 60 isn't just sugar itself. It's the hidden industrial starches lurking in nearly every processed food in the grocery store. They wear different names: modified food starch, maltodextrin, cornstarch, wheat starch. But they all act the same way. They flood your bloodstream with sugar, fuel inflammation, and quietly accelerate the very aging processes we're all trying to slow down. But the good news is powerful and immediate. You can reclaim your energy, your focus, and your health simply by making smarter swaps and balancing your meals. Let's recap what really matters. The 5 big takeaways. 1. Refined starch is the invisible sugar you don't see. Even foods labeled low sugar or sugar-free may spike your blood sugar faster than a candy bar. Industrial starches digest almost instantly, overwhelming your system. Blood sugar spikes lead to fatigue, belly fat, and brain fog. These roller coaster glucose swings strain your pancreas, cause visceral fat to grow around your organs, and slow mental clarity. Real carbs don't hurt you. Fake carbs do. Vegetables, beans, whole grains, and fruits release glucose slowly. They nourish your body, feed good gut bacteria, and stabilize your mood. The steady energy formula works. Every balanced meal with carbs, protein, healthy fat, and fiber helps you feel satisfied, protect your heart, and support strong muscles and clear thinking. Small changes create powerful results. Replacing industrial starches with natural fiber-rich foods for even 1 week can improve insulin sensitivity and energy levels. Harvard studies confirm it. Let's talk about what this looks like in real life. I recently worked with Janet, 68, from North Carolina. She'd struggled for years with bloating, afternoon exhaustion, and creeping blood sugar numbers her doctor warned could lead to prediabetes. She didn't make drastic changes, just swapped her morning instant oatmeal for overnight oats with chia seeds, traded sandwich bread for whole grain sourdough, and replaced her evening snack crackers with a few almonds and an apple. In 3 months, her fasting glucose dropped from 118 to 92. Her joint stiffness eased, and she said, "I feel like I woke up from a fog I didn't know I was in." That's the power of small, steady progress. Modern research is now proving what long-lived cultures like those in Okinawa and Sardinia have known for generations. Longevity isn't about eating less, it's about eating smarter. People in blue zones regions with the highest number of centenarians rarely eat processed starches or refined flours. Instead, they focus on natural carbs from beans, vegetables, and tubers, healthy fats like olive oil and nuts, fermented foods that nurture the gut, and social meals that keep stress low and joy high. The NIH's 2024 longevity study confirmed that adults who follow similar dietary patterns show 40% lower rates of diabetes and cognitive decline, even when genetics weren't in their favor. So yes, the food you eat daily truly determines not just how long you live, but how well you live those years. If you're over 60, maybe you've been told it's too late to reverse years of damage. But your body is incredibly resilient. Every organ you have, your liver, pancreas, gut, even your brain is designed for regeneration when given the right environment. It's never about perfection. It's about giving your cells the materials they need to repair and thrive. Each time you swap an industrial starch for a real food, you're literally lowering inflammation, stabilizing hormones, and fueling your cells for healing. You're helping your body remember how it's supposed to feel. As the Cleveland Clinic's Dr. Michael Roizen once said, "You can't turn back the clock, but you can change how fast it's ticking." And that's exactly what you're doing by making these simple science-backed changes. Before your next grocery trip, take 5 minutes to read a few labels. If you see modified food starch, maltodextrin, or cornstarch near the top, put it back. Reach instead for foods your grandparents would recognize: oats, eggs, beans, nuts, vegetables, olive oil, and real whole grains. Try it for 1 week, just one, and notice how your energy, digestion, and clarity shift. Then, share your story. You might just inspire someone else to start their own journey toward a calmer, stronger, sharper life after 60. If this video helped you understand your body better, please give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend who might need to hear this today. And don't forget to subscribe for more trusted science-backed health tips made especially for life after 60. Because remember, aging isn't a downhill road. It's a chance to rise wiser, calmer, and stronger than ever before. Thank you for watching, and take care of yourself, starting with what's on your plate today.